Good evening. Welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. My name is Bridget Otu. It was meant to be a peaceful demonstration, but it turned violent. We'll bring you the latest on the Arise Ghana demonstration. Stay with the headlines. Right, and leadership of Arise Ghana demonstration. Okay, we're starting in Tamale, where two Muslim groups in Tamale say they are arming themselves for what is to come. Association of Graduate Teachers has given government a 72-hour ultimatum to look at their pay or they will strike. Trade Minister says Commander Sugar Factory 98% complete and ready for production test. Run by the end of July. Also coming up in business, Trade Minister blames high cost of cement prices on Ukraine war and the free fall of the Ghanaian cedi. For France, Mexico has blamed the lack of control at the borders for the worst case of migrant deaths due to smuggling in the US. Right, we're starting with our Arise Ghana demonstration, and the leadership is currently holding a press conference. We're going to cross over and listen to the latest, and then we'll go back to what has happened since morning.
We moved to go and see what was happening ahead. As we were going, we saw the police targeting us from the top of their vehicles and started shooting. These police officers who told me that they were not protested, but they had come there to protest their bosses, were the ones who started throwing the stones towards the police officers who were shooting and throwing tear gases at us. So this is a well-staged thing by President Akufo-Addo, Dampare, and his police, that they should come and instigate. And when they did that, you saw that they started throwing. And some of you were around. Where's my brother? He's here. He was standing with me. When one of our own decided to take a stone to throw at the police, I jumped out of the crowd and held him by the neck and pulled him back and said, we are peaceful people. We did not come here to throw stones. I came there with my handkerchief. Sammy went there with his phone. Prince was walking and he was shot by a rubber bullet.
Sorry, it is actually a tear gas.
You understand? He was shot. Ofosu Ampofu, who was in the vehicle with me, Sammy had just descended. Asedun Ketia was there. Totobi Kwachi, this old man, was standing by. The police surging forward started shooting and throwing tear gas into the vehicle that we were in. Asedun Ketia, I don't know where he learned his skills from. So he laid flat in the Kia. I don't know where he learned those skills from. He laid flat in the Kia. Totobi Kwachi wanted to meet the police to find out why they were doing that. His bodyguard did not allow him. The bodyguard pushed him onto the floor and covered him down there to save the man. As for me and Ofosu Ampofu, our security is not that high-tech. So we're trying to jump out of the vehicle. Ofosu sandals held onto the barister of the Kia. And he was falling. But we're all struggling to go. So he fell. Just when he fell, a tear gas landed right in front of him and exploded. So he was blinded. When I was trying to get to Ofosu Ampofu, the boys around me just picked me and said, you are a target. So they took me away. I still protested and said, no, leave me. So they left me before I realized they brought Ofosu Ampofu. Whilst we were there, and the police started coming towards our direction. So we had to scatter in different directions. I entered into the station, the trot stations, all the way to Neoplan. The police were still throwing their tear gas into Neoplan station at innocent persons. The police have the courage to go and issue a statement to blame us for something that they have planned. If we say we will not use your route, we don't know what you have planted there that you want us to use. You say we will not use our route. Staying at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, since when has that become a crime? Since when has that become a crime? And so they chose to unleash violence on us. But as I said, I've only known Akufo-Addo to be a violent person, but I didn't think that he would transmit such violence into the police for them to do this. Fortunately, tomorrow, the police have no issues whatsoever with the route we have chosen and the time that we want to go on our protestation. I assure you, we will not be intimidated. We will not waver. We shall mass up tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the Elwak Sports Stadium and walk through the Liberation Road and end up at Parliament House. We want to do this peacefully, and we encourage all of you to join us so that we can send the signal that Akufo-Addo and his people in power are not stronger than the power of the people.
Any questions? Any questions? Do you have any questions for us? I can see you don't have any questions for us. So we will thank you very much. But before we leave here, are the boys and the girls here? Yeah. Arise.
Save Ghana now.
Arise.
Save Ghana now.
Arise.
Ghana, you for your country. The nation demands your.
So that was Bernard Mona. He's one of the conveners for Arise Ghana demonstration. Next to him was Sami Jemfi, National Communications Officer of the NDC. And he was countering the police narrative that it was the protesters or demonstrators who pelted stones at them. And in fact, there was one police officer who had his ear injured probably from a stone that was thrown at him. But there are also several videos and pictures of demonstrators who had been attacked. Now, Bernard Mona simply said earlier, unfortunately, you didn't get the beginning of that, and when he granted an interview to a sister station, that they were actually in a meeting with the police leadership, including COP Christian Tete Yohonu, and he himself had spoken to the IGP, and they were telling them, this would be peaceful. The IGP assured them that this would be peaceful and his men would be professional, only for them to hear the police fire tear gas and rubber bullets at them. So let's go on and look at some more stories.
They are arresting me for no reason. I have never thrown a single stone to the police. I believe in the law. I would never throw any stone to the police.
Those were scenes at the Nkrumah Circle, the circle overhead, the overhead there. And you heard some of the demonstrators. They were very vocal, and that was a point where the clash happened. I mean, police were using their vehicles or the armored vehicle. They sprayed hot water at them. They threw tear gas at them, and they also retaliated with bricks that were available. Some used their neon signs to also retaliate against the police. We'll get to the police has issued a statement. We'll look at that, and then we'll look at what social media is saying, because currently a Rise Ghana demonstration is #1 in Ghana, and there's a lot of voices from Ghana here expressing either they are appalled by the attitude of the protesters or speaking in support of the protesters. Okay, so this is what the Ghana police is saying. The demonstration by Ghana police on Arise Ghana demo. It says the demonstration by the Arise Ghana group commenced with demonstrators gathering at Obra Sports at about 8 a.m. Contrary to the court orders, the organizers insisted on using routes leading to the Jubilee House. All attempts to persuade them to comply with the court-approved routes did not yield the expected results. Unfortunately, and without any provocation, the demonstrators began pelting the police with stones. So far, 12 police officers who sustained various degrees of injuries and were treated in the police mobile hospitals have been transferred to the police hospital for further treatment. Some police vehicles have also been damaged, and that's the narrative from the Ghana Police Service. And that has been countered by the Arise Ghana demonstrators as well. Again, it says the demonstrators further regrouped and burned tires on the road around Circle. The fire from the burning tires has since been put out by the police. The police therefore had no option but to use tear gas and water cannons to subdue the rioting and restore order. The process is still ongoing. That's the police narrative that they want to put out, that this is what happened. The organizers have also said that it's the opposite. In fact, it was the police that started with tear gas, and some protested, responded. Okay, so we'll look at social media comments. On Arise Ghana, we just want to see. Right, so this is from Parkway C. Jr., and he says, how many general elections has Sami Gyamfi won for the NDC? Nil. You want Honorable Kojo upon Nkrumah to spend all his time jumping from one radio station to another from morning till evening like Sami Gyamfi, who has nothing to do. Honorable Kojo is busy serving his people. So that's someone speaking in support of Kojo Oponkum, who is the Minister of Information, saying that Sami Gyamfi has nothing to do. Okay, I understand you though, but isn't this the same police force that allowed the Occupy Ghana demonstrators to use unapproved routes to get to the Jubilee House some years back? Why didn't we face the same resistance back then? So that's someone expressing his views about the Occupy Ghana demonstrations, which occupied at the time it was Flagstaff House. Why should a few people be allowed to hinder the movement of mass vehicles and others on the principal streets of Accra? You're free to demonstrate, but not anywhere you want to, bro. What will happen when the protesters use the ring road? Why create this confusion and turn around to cry foul? Your behavior is unacceptable and must be condemned. Allow the people to protest while you do your job. And that's Perez, and he was tweeting at the Ghana Police Service following their statement. And that's the police. They are saying one of their officers, they said 12, but really the picture they showed was just a single officer who had a wound to his ear, and that's the picture they put there on. And the tone of the tweet by the police service was interesting. It's almost emotional, because they said, what a shame. We were to protect you and ensure your safety, but you throw stones at us, injure and hurt us. It felt like the admin felt personally offended. This tweet, this behavior is unacceptable and must be condemned. All right, that's the Ghana Police handle on Twitter. Tweeting at us, use the hashtag Arise Ghana Demo. You can also use the hashtag Newsnight. It's not just the capital that is experiencing this. We understand the tension is brewing internally as two Muslim factions head into a clash. At a sermon on Friday, a powerful Muslim cleric, Sheikh Ibrahim Basha, asked his congregation to arm themselves in case of attacks from the Ambariya Muslim community. At a press conference in Tamale, leadership of the Ambariya Muslim group called on their supporters to remain calm. First, let's listen to what the Sheikh said, and then we'll continue with what the other half had to say.
If you are really fighting for the Prophet, don't be afraid to die. Don't be weak Muslims. Let me mention their name. Ambaria. If they insult me, insult them. If they hit you, you hit them. Wherever you are, get guns. I used not to have anything, but somebody gave me 3 guns yesterday. Get yourselves guns and bullets.
We'll get to the English explanation for you in a bit. But let's also take a listen to the other part, the other faction. And it was also again addressed by the Ambaria Muslim community. And he is urging his followers to remain calm. Issa Hussein Yakubu is a cleric.
His actions dangerous with the potential of radicalizing the youth and destabilizing peace and stability currently enjoyed in the country. Ambaria Sunni community is an institution with long-standing reputation of preaching peace, tolerance, and social cohesion, and working closely with the security agencies and other stakeholders in maintaining peace and stability in the region.
Right, so let's continue with the rest of our stories now. And the Greater Accra chapter of the National Association of Graduate Teachers has given government a 72-hour ultimatum to come clear on the 20% cost of living allowance agreed on some time past, or risk a strike. According to the chairman, Henry Tetetete Afi, should government fail to heed to this call, the association will be compelled to stage a strike by the end of June 2022.
Association of Graduate Teachers, we demand to unite as a strong voice.
According to the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, the high cost of living is unbearable for teachers especially. Speaking at the news conference held in Accra, the chairman for the Greater Accra chapter outlined the reasons for their demand for the high cost of living allowances.
There's no passing day without increase in prices. We shall not bore the people of Ghana with these price increases, since we all visit the markets and can attest to this. The already meager salary of the teacher has been further eroded by these happenings. The teacher can barely survive. It is important to remind the good people of Ghana that workers received a paltry 4% increase in salary in 2021 and only 7% increase in 2022. Whilst other Ghanaian workers received over 70% increase in their incomes. Wow. The teacher today is living on life support, and hence the reason for a sensitive government to intervene.
The group also gave an ultimatum to government to pay the allowance or risk a strike.
Never. We, the Greater Accra Regional Secretariat of NAGRAT, wish to add our voice to the call by the other 9 regional secretariats of NAGRAT to demand of our national leadership that if at the end of June 2022 our call for COLA is not heeded to, they should be left with no other option than to pay heed to the clarion call of our members to lay down our tools.
NAGRAT for excellence, NAGRAT the beacon.
So I mentioned that we do have a lot of stories from the Arise Ghana demonstration, and we're continuing with that. So leadership of Arise Ghana has vowed to continue its planned demonstration tomorrow, despite a clash with the police at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange. Now, this comes after several demonstrators were arrested for pelting stones at the police. There's more in the following report by my colleague, Henry Kwesi Bedu.
The protesters, clad in red and black, were poised for the demonstration as thousands massed up at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange on Tuesday.
Russia for the bomb wababeto eye tamatonum. Russia for the bomb wabeto toho. Because COVID-19 a fertilizer. COVID-19 a kwakwan. Akufo dada on simply no amra from no driver for yanka bibi chero. Ya wa ha ne o kire wa ha Yawa da driver for ya breno. Yabaka che driver for so bia for the car sifie. Na kufa do ntide zane so na ho kire na aba oman no emra from.
The group held several crunch meetings with the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service to determine the route for the protest following Monday's court proceedings.
In line with our constitutional rights. That will not happen today. And it will not happen tomorrow. Notice some of you used to your streets now. Mayan used to your streets, you know. Some of you used to your streets, and yet we are not moving an inch. We will stay here till tomorrow.
A clash then ensued between the protesters and the police personnel after the police insisted they use the Aqua J interchange to the Jubilee House. The police then fired tear gas as the protesters pelted stones at them, injuring dozens in the process. Several protesters were picked up by the police after the clash. Organizers of the Krumayeshi demonstration accused the police of dishonesty, adding they will continue to protest on Wednesday.
Because we know ourselves too. Many of the people that are hurt are our people. How can we hurt our own people?
They are stopping you people. Now, Alliance, you're supposed to stop the demonstration. What's the way forward now?
Who said we should stop? Who said we should stop? Who said we should stop?
We know the court ordered that it should be stopped for 4 p.m. So.
Oh, is that right? Have you seen it? Have you seen the court order? No, if you have seen it, tell me you've seen it.
There was a ruling yesterday.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen it. Yesterday I was in court.
Have you seen the order? Come and read it through me.
So are you still going forward? Are you still going to continue with the demonstration?
Inshallah, we will continue with the demonstration.
So we are seeing
Master,
tomorrow.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It will be funny. See, Akufo-Addo can do anything. This time, he will vomit it. He will vomit your e-levy that he's stealing.
We have had meetings with the police, the police leadership. We know whatever they are doing here is a script written for them from the Flagstaff House. I have always said that Dampari may be a good man, but he has allowed himself to be used as a puppet by the Akufo-Addo government, and they are destroying this country. This is where we are today. We had an agreement. They agreed that we should use this route. So why all of a sudden they are telling us that order from above? Who is the above? Who else is above the police administration?
Right, and we'll go back and listen to the bite of the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pampam, Honorable Sam Jatta George.
How much it cost me to fill my tank. I used to fill my tank with 430 Ghana cedis on the 5th of December 2020. Today, I am filling that same tank with 1,300 Ghana cedis, more than 3 times the increase. I buy fuel, I pay electricity bill, I pay water bills, and I know what is happening as an ordinary Ghanaian. There is no special market for MPs. There is no special tariff for MPs. I am a Ghanaian. When my wife goes to the market, and in my house I do the groceries, many people will tell you they've met me at the malls shopping. And I see the prices. I know how much I used to do shopping in a week. And now I know how much I'm using. The government is failing. And when you're talking, the government is not listening. We were told that the money is here. Now what is happening? The abuse and misuse. The abuse and misuse of public funds. The fact that you have the Auditor General identifying the fact that misappropriation and waste of public funds amounted to 12 billion Ghana cedis in 2020. How can you run a country? You have your government going out to go and borrow $12 million for agric, but we are wasting 12 billion Ghana cedis by way of misappropriation. What kind of country is this?
Again, we'll hear from a security expert, Sunny Adib.
Ability of every Ghanaian to not just talk about what is happening, but to act it. We have a responsibility to be part and parcel of the governance process. Secondly, I am here as a Ghanaian and nothing else. As a member of the civil society space, we understand, recognize, and appreciate the destabilizing effect of what is going on in the country. By the day, more and more people are pushed into uncertainty, particularly young people. More and more people are becoming desperate. More and more Ghanaians are pushed below the poverty line. And we do recognize the effects it might have on the security of the state. I have never been to any protest. This is my first. So that should tell you the importance attached to this and the severity of the whole economic management of this current administration.
Right, so you can unofficially call this bulletin the Arise Ghana Demo Bulletin. We're taking our very first break. When we come back, we'll still gauge what's happening online and see what else is being said about the Arise Ghana demonstration. Leadership insists they will continue tomorrow. Stay with us. Right, so it's not just Arise Ghana that's making the news. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Alan Tremantin, is also talking. And Ms. Alan Tremantin has told Parliament that the Commander Sugar Factory is currently undergoing major repair works with a projection to undertake a production test run by the end of July 2022. And the Minister, in response to a question by the current state of the factory, explained the turbine for the electricity production has been overhauled and currently under production test.
The whole factory building and warehouse have been re-roofed to stop leakages and corrosion. Raw material warehouse, as well as the fencing of the entire factory premises, are currently under construction. Mr. Speaker, 4 acres of nursery land has been prepared for the cultivation of sugarcane to support sugarcane development in the catchment area. There are further plans to expand it to 500 acres after the commencement of operations. In addition, Mr. Speaker, the board of the company is finalizing negotiations with traditional authorities to secure about 20,000 acres of land required for the plantation development in the Sechere Obuasi and Sechere Hemai area in the Wasa East District.
Right, so remember earlier we brought you the story on the intended clash between 2 groups in Tamale, and our correspondent Israel Hassan D. Baba is on the line to tell us more about exactly where we are currently, if the police has come in, what is the police saying. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us, Al Hassan. Al Hassan, what can you tell us about the current situation with respect to the 2 groups who are planning to arm their followers?
All right, thank you so much. This morning, we all woke up to the news that an Islamic cleric in the northern region, in the name of Sheikh Basha, has asked his followers to arm themselves against the Ambaria Muslim community in the northern region. And before I proceed, let's make it clear that the Ambaria community did not ask their followers to arm themselves. They rather call on them to be patient and not to escalate the situation. So when everybody heard of this news, we were all shocked that a respected cleric like Malam Basha will say this. And according to what we are getting currently, he said this because some people earlier warned him, which we can't confirm for now. So I went to the Northern Regional Police Command this evening to confirm whether this thing has gotten to their table, and I was told that it has come to their attention and they are working on it, but they declined to comment further on the development. Meanwhile, the good people of the northern region are not happy for the development because these two factions are very huge. They command a whole lot of support in the northern region, and should anything happen between the two factions, it's going to be disaster, which nobody is praying for. So it's really important for the Northern Regional Security Council, MESEC, and other relevant authorities to act fast, like the Ambaria people mentioned before it gets out of hand.
Al Hassan, what is the underlying issue here?
Well, it's funny because I said it's funny because we don't really know exactly what happened on that fateful Friday before the Malam called on his supporters to arm themselves. But actually, that is what we heard. And like I told you earlier, it's like we heard that some people insulted that Malam earlier, which we can't confirm, and that led to this message. He called on his supporters to arm themselves and act against anybody who is trying to go against them from the Ambaria Muslim community. Meanwhile, the leader of the Ambaria Muslim community and his people said they throw a challenge to Malam to tell them where and when they have ever attacked or insulted him before he issued this warning or this threat to the good people of the northern region. They are not happy for it, and they call on the Regional Security Council to act fast before things gets out of hand.
Okay, and has the police been informed? Because I mean, at this very moment, police must be involved.
Exactly, like I told you earlier, I went to the regional police command, and they told me that it has gotten to their attention, but they declined to comment further on the development. I believe they declined to comment because IGP asked them not to speak without permission.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll definitely stay on this and see what happens there. Thank you very much, Al Hassan D. Baba. And a group of concerned imams and chiefs say the call by the Muslim Patriotic Front for the removal of the chairman of the Hajj Board is born out of selfishness and tribalism and politics. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, spokesperson Sheikh Imam Abdul Rashid Odoi Atem said the chair of the Hajj Board has been sabotaged because of his tribe.
Begin with, is it not curious that if indeed members of the Patriotic Muslim Front have a problem with the increase in this year's Hajj fare, they will not call for the dissolution of the entire Hajj board, but call for the removal of only the chairman, Sheikh Isikwe? Is it not curious? If a whole board acted and you have a problem with that, you only say, let us remove the head and then leave the other members of the board. That in itself should tell you that there is something ongoing behind the scene. Again, the Hajj fare in the Gambia is $7,756. In Senegal, it is $6,845. In Guinea-Conakry, it is $6,795. In Nigeria, it is $6,022. In Liberia, it is $6,500. In Morocco, it is $6,405. In Egypt, it is $6,700. Again, Ghana, if indeed the upper age limit of 65 years is an automatic disqualification of Sheikh Isikwe and a call for his removal from office, what about the other members of the Hajj board who are more than 65 years? In fact, Sheikh Isikwe at age 86 led Ghana's delegation to the annual Hajj conference in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia as recently as May 2022. If he doesn't qualify to lead Ghanaian pilgrims for this year's Hajj, the Ministry of Hajj in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would have told him that in the face. Our investigations revealed that right from the composition of the current Hajj board, there were 3 people who thought they were quote-unquote more Muslim than Sheikh Isikwe and more deserving of the position of the chairman of the Hajj board because of their tribe. As a result of that, these people constituted themselves into a clique who started sabotaging Sheikh Isikwe from day one. But fortunately, they did not succeed and will never succeed until the day of judgment, inshallah. When the Sheikh Isikwe-led board was constituted, he, together with his board, ensured that the 452 fully paid pilgrims who could not perform the Hajj in 2016 under the Alhaji Abdurrauf Tanko-led board performed the Hajj without paying a dime. The Sheikh Kwe-led board has been excellent in the running of Hajj, for which reason Ghana was adjudged in 2018 as the best non-Arab country to have organized the Hajj.
And Member of Parliament for Lower Manya Krobo, Ebenezer Oklete Talabi, has accused the Minister for Interior of dragging his feet in implementing the Speaker's directive for military officers deployed to the Krobo area to be withdrawn. The MP says the continuous presence of the military in the area for the installation of prepaid meters is fueling tension.
We have had enough, and there's a need for us to really be very careful when we are deploying these men. Because, Mr. Speaker, I don't know the kind of briefing that they were giving. But then they move into their homes carrying guns. And then they come, they ask, and they say they have been instructed by national security to come and install meters. Mr. Speaker, the people are not happy about it, and it is creating tension. Mr. Speaker, as part of the agreement, what we said was that at least we are lucky we have a lot of institutions in this area. We could start with the institutions as engage the communities. And in the process, Mr. Speaker, even those who were against it or are against it would come on board. But then, Mr. Speaker, what is happening now, it is not sightly at all. It is unsightly.
This ruling by the Speaker was meant to put the matter to rest. But on Monday, there was a standoff between residents of Nwaso and military officers who accompanied the Electricity Company of Ghana officials to begin the installation of the prepaid meters in neighboring Pongo. The residents also massed up and marched towards Nwaso to confront the soldiers. The assemblyman for Nwaso New Town, Raymond Asari, accused the Electricity Company of Ghana of failing to sensitize them before proceeding with the installation exercise.
They were agitating because there were no communication or education on the ground. Even though they know that it's going somewhere, but they also believe that when they get the education, where to get the prepaid when it's fixed, where to get the credit, they want to know everything before the prepaid can install on their wall or their homes.
Member of Parliament for the area accused the authorities of failing to adhere to the Speaker's directives. Meanwhile, the residents insist they will resist attempts to use the military to intimidate them.
And some bad news: if you use cement, cement prices are likely to go up from 1st July. And the Minister of Trade and Industry, Mr. Alan Tremante, is explaining why we're experiencing cement price hikes. And we'll tell you more in business after the break.
Welcome back to News 9 live on Metro TV. My name is Winston Taki. And out of us, business story. Minority MPs in Parliament say they have been vindicated following confessions by government officials that only 10% of revenue target of the e-levy has been realized. Deputy Minority Leader James Aveji and Ranking Member on Communications Committee Abba Fusaini also said the NPP government has no option than to go to the IMF to revive the economy.
His tweet raised eyebrows both on and off social media, reviving the conversation on whether or not Ghana should seek an IMF bailout. Leading member of the NPP, Gabi Ochre-Daku, indicated the much-touted e-levy has failed to live up to expectations as only about 10% of its project revenue have been generated. In response, Deputy Minority Leader and Ranking Member of Parliament's Communications Committee concluded the tax policy has failed.
Ministers come to the chamber to answer questions. They will say that, oh, you pass the e-levy, and then your concerns will be addressed. Giving hope to Ghanaians that if e-levy is passed, all the problems of this country will be resolved. We told them that e-levy cannot be the solution to the hardship that we are going through.
We feel more than vindicated. And we have indicated it from the very onset that it was even absolutely unnecessary to impose the e-levy. And so, look, I can tell you that our vindication is even more given the vim when you consider that as we speak, there is rumor going around that they are already having talks with the IMF. So for the likes of leading member of the NPP like Gabi Ochre-Daku to come and say something like that, they are already there. And they are only selling feelers to Ghanaians to see how Ghanaians feel about it. But I can tell you that they are there already.
In principle, Gabi Ochre-Daku says he believes in the IMF but cautioned against programs that will make Ghana worse off. The Deputy Minority Leader said government should eat a humble pie and seek a bailout.
And we advise that, well, the best thing for you to go to the fund for a program which can put you in line on what to do, because they don't want to go to the fund in order to be directed on what to do. They want a free hand so that they can do whatever they want to do to plunge this economy deep into hardship. But it's surprising that they have come to the realization that there is a need for them to go to the fund. And we will support them to go to the fund because we know that the fund will tell them you can't do certain things which they are doing now.
Now, let's bring you how many times Ghana has been to the IMF, and by our numbers, we realize that Ghana has been to the IMF 16 times, and the graphics are coming on your screen as of now. So the arrangement was made on August 27, 1987. That is up to December 31st, 1985. That was when we first went to, that was when we decided to go to the IMF. Following that, the continuous arrangement with the nation of Ghana with the IMF has continued from then downwards. So we could see that from the May 28, 1968, that agreement lasted to May 27, 1969. Also, we had that same agreement going forward and up to 2018 to the period where we realized that the agreement still existed between Ghana and IMF. So the next slide you can see on your screen, from April 3rd to 2015 to December 2018. That was the last time Ghana made an agreement with IMF where we were giving conditionalities with regards to what we can do as an economy, where there was a hold on employment. There was a lot of conditionality that we had to subscribe to because of increasing inflation and also economic fundamental challenges we had to address as of now. So these are the numbers. Now, away from that, there has been mounting pressure indeed on the government to fall on the International Monetary Fund for economic bailout. According to the Vice President of Imani Center for Policy Education, Bright Simmons, the nation needs to consider the cost of going to the IMF as against alternative source of borrowing.
The government during COVID has taken $2 billion from IMF, right? So if the same government is complaining about IMF, it makes no sense. What were the conditions attached to that $2 billion delivery? So there was no conditions because of the nature of that package. So it's not automatic that if you go to IMF, you get conditionalities. But if your situation is bad, then yes, you don't get a good product. Some of their products are less stringent than others. So that's the real issue. But the bigger discussion is about the fact that are we going to stop borrowing or not? Because I showed you the numbers. How much the government insists on still having to borrow. Even with this 80 billion tax thing, it's still expected to borrow 50-something billion, right? Locally and internationally. So it will still borrow.
All right.
So if the government will still borrow, then the only thing we have to check is which borrowing is safer. This is the Euro bond that they normally go for. Today, even if they reform their immediate issues and they went back to Euro bond, they won't get less than 9%. If you went to IMF, the worst you could get is maybe 2%. So that's important. That's a huge difference. Secondly, if you go in there and you go and ensure that you've raised money at that 9% and you bring it in, there'll be less accountability. They will not force you to publish anything. IMF will force you to publish all that information. So people like you and I will have more insight. So the key point is that so long as they're going to keep borrowing, we have to look at the cost differential between IMF and other options. That's the way to look at it, not whether or not you go to IMF or whether the IMF is good or that's not a debate. Will you keep borrowing? Then what is the options? You get domestic market borrowing. You will get Eurobond borrowing. Are they cheaper than IMF? The conditionality and those things too has to be benchmarked against what you lose in the interest rate.
That'll be all for business here on News 9. My name is Winston Taki. We'll be back with sports right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back and time for sports. My name is Phil John Quartet. After clinching the Ghana Premier League and the MTN FA Cup, Accra House of Folk and Asante Kotoko will represent Ghana in the CAF Confederation and CAF Champions League. They will start in September.
Asante Kotoko and Heart of Folk will begin their Africa campaign on the weekend of September 9 to 11, 2022 and September 16 to 18 respectively. As the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League champions, the Porcupine Warriors will automatically be Ghana's sole representative at the elite level of CAF's inter-club competition, the Champions League. The last time the 25-time Ghana Premier League champions participated in the CAF's inter-club competition was in the 2018-2019 season, where they drew in Group C with the likes of Zesco United, Al Hilal Omdurman and Nkana FC after advancing at the expense of Cameroonian side Cotton Sport by 5-3 aggregate scoreline. Ahead of next season's competition, life patron of the Porcupine Warriors, Otumfuo Seitu II, reiterated his desire to see the club win an African title when the management and playing body of the club visited Menchia Palace to present the Ghana Premier League title to the Asantehene. Heart of Folk's victory over Bichim United in Sunday's FA Cup final all but guarantees them a place in the CAF Confederations Cup. The Phobians were Ghana's sole representatives in Africa last season after winning the double but dropped down to the Confederations Cup after they were knocked out by eventual CAF Champions League winners Wydad Casablanca. They were then knocked out of the Confederations Cup by Algerian club JS Saoura, losing 4-0 away from home despite carrying a 2-0 lead into the second leg. This will be the first time the two clubs will represent Ghana in CAF's inter-club competitions since 2015 when Asante Kotoko featured in the Champions League and bowed out in the first round of the qualifying round, with Heart of Folk also exiting in the final qualifying round of the Confederations Cup. Registration for the competitions will kick off effective August 1 and end on August 15, with each club expected to register a maximum of 40 players and use 11 players in a match, with 9 players on the bench, with 5 players coming on as substitutes during the changes for substitution under the new directives.
Well, that's your sports. My name is Phil John Quartes. Here is latest Wave Entertainment.
Thank you, Phil. It's time for entertainment news. My name is Isiodua Akumia. Now, when asked if not winning an award after being nominated validates your success in the music industry, Gospel artist Emilia Arthur answered by saying award organizers need to educate Ghanaians about the fact that it is not all about an award.
Okay, the last time I spoke to one of the organizers in the VGMA, that they have to come out and give some education so that people will understand that even the nomination alone shows that you've been recognized.
Yes.
It means what you are doing in the corner over there, someone has seen it and recognized it. So if they did not come out and give those education, that when we even nominate you, it shows that you have been recognized in the industry or in the system. People will just keep on thinking that just a Miss Award, no one say who say me wo. No, even the nomination alone.
It's a plus.
Now, PSA Esther, who is also a gospel artist, contributed by saying that concentrating on awards would just draw you back.
Not even the nomination, because sometimes they will tell you that you didn't submit your forms. Your forms,
like the songs you did in a
year.
Yeah.
So maybe your song fine. Right. You're nice. Anka, you need to be nominated. But because you did not submit the forms, yes, does not mean say one year papa.
Yeah.
Yes. So that I was somebody say what the word you could be blur here. It will draw you back. It means we shouldn't follow it too much. But
Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Isiodua Akumia. Bridget?
Now, the survivors were hot to the touch and suffering from heat stroke and exhaustion.